If you don't come out of this video loving the Suicide Squad, or at least at the very least a little bit excited for the Suicide Squad, then I have completely failed in my duties of that comic girl. Please don't fail me. What is up? It is your girl, and on last week we got the first ever trailer for the Suicide Squad movie, the newest DC film by James Gunn. And if you did not know, I am a ridiculously huge fan of the Suicide Squad. I mean, maybe you do kind of have some kind of idea, and there's more other places, but I absolutely love the Suicide Squad. They are some of my favorite, it's my favorite group in comics. They're some of my favorite characters in comics, and I'm just really excited to be able to see a Suicide Squad movie that I can kind of be excited for, because as you saw a couple years ago, we got one that was not very good.
Don't hurt me. I'll be your friend.
So speaking of the not very good one, the Suicide Squad movie is supposed to serve as a sequel, but not really, but kind of a reboot, but not really. I don't know. They don't know what they want to do. They just want to make a Suicide Squad movie, but still keep Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang and a couple other people. So it is a new film with a load of characters. And when I say a load of characters, I mean, I usually call DC comic characters by their first name, and I don't even know half of these people. So I figured, why not? Let's have fun. Let's kind of hang out. Let's do a who's who of the Suicide Squad, because I did some research, a little bit of research. And some of these characters are batshit crazy, and I think I just need to share that with you guys. So grab some popcorn, grab a little blue raspberry slushy, whatever you want to do. Let's play who's who of the Suicide Squad. So the Suicide Squad originally appeared in Brave and the Bold number 25 back in 1959. However, it wasn't until 1987 that the modern incarnation of Suicide Squad sort of came to be, thanks to John Ostrander, who's, by the way, has probably the coolest cameo I have ever seen in a movie, and that alone just makes me so ridiculously hyped for the Suicide Squad. However, this new incarnation that John Ostrander created is basically what we came to know as Suicide Squad, or in some terms, Task Force X. It was a group of villains working off their sentence thanks to the lovely Amanda Waller. No, seriously, she's amazing, and I absolutely love her. Thank you so much for existing. They were told that if they did these Black Ops missions, that it would kind of help to work off their sentence. Except JK, because chances are you're not going to even work off your sentence, because you're probably going to die in 5 minutes. But the Suicide Squad, what's really interesting about them is that they've always had a rotating cast of characters. I mean, we've always seen characters at the figurehead, like Captain Boomerang, who we'll talk about in a little bit, and Deadshot, and now with modern incarnations, we've seen Harley a lot appear, but it's always had a rotating cast, so I feel like it's always given time for, you know, characters to take the spotlight, and that is exactly what is happening with the James Gunn iteration, because let me tell you, I don't know who half of these people are, but let's kind of break it down. First, we'll start with Harley. I'm not really going to go too big into Harley Quinn, because everybody knows who Harley Quinn is at this point. She's literally the face of everything at this point. Like, my mom even knows who Harley Quinn is, and she's never read a comic. Harley Quinn, you know, I'm going to give her a pass because she looks so cute in this damn movie. Like, they are finally letting her wear the black and red iconic look, but not with the jester, just the black and red, and it just feels so good, because we've seen her go through that awful Daddy's Little Monster outfit. We saw her go through the really cool Birds of Prey outfit, which was cool, but wasn't really Harley Quinn to me, and now she's kind of coming into her own, and I'm really, really excited about that. So Harley Quinn, you might impress me just as yet. Now let's talk about some of the weirdos of the film, because there are a lot. So the first one we're going to talk about is Bloodsport. Bloodsport first appeared in Superman number 4, and yes, he is a Superman villain. This average man goes head to head with a Kryptonian god, and I just feel so bad for him. Did you know that Bloodsport also appeared in the CW Supergirl? Because I didn't, so this is the second time that Bloodsport is appearing on the big screen. So, like I said, Bloodsport is just your average dude, and he was created, I guess, during like the Vietnam era, and he's actually a Vietnam draft dodger, but not in the way that you would think. So most people, when they dodged the Vietnam War, you know, it's because they were morally opposed to the war. Bloodsport here is just morally afraid of death. So my guy, I've got some news for you, because you were on something called the Suicide Squad. I don't think it's going to work out well for you, but I'm wishing you the best of luck. So when Bloodsport didn't go into the Vietnam War, his brother took his place, and when his brother returned, he came back a mangled, missing limb pile of mess. This made Bloodsport go a little crazy, and he ended up in a psychiatric hospital, I think somewhere up in Canada. And as he's going through his craziness, Lex Luthor and his goonies show up, and they're like, hey, we're going to take advantage of you and arm you to the teeth with kryptonite weapons and send you into Metropolis to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then Superman shows up and beats the living piss out of this poor man with mental disabilities. I'm kind of rooting for this guy at this point. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not just because he's played by Idris Elba, but a little bit because he's played by Idris Elba, but I'm rooting for this man. I'm really hoping that the odds of survival for Bloodsport are high, because listen, if I have to watch Idris Elba die again, I'm going to be a very upset lady. So Bloodsport seems to be one of our leading men of the movie, along with Peacemaker. And I already don't like Peacemaker, and I think it's because they're literally shoving him in my face. So Peacemaker already has a TV show slated for HBO Max. He's also in the new Suicide Squad comics, and he's being plastered on the covers of every one that you can think of. He's also played by John Cena, so if you're into that sort of thing, maybe he's a character for you. I don't know, man. He kind of just looks like a sweaty, smelly douchebag, and I kind of just want to punch him in the nose. So fun fact, Peacekeeper ain't even a real DC Comics character. I mean, technically he is now, but he wasn't when he first appeared. So Peacekeeper first showed up in the Charlton Comics espionage title Fightin' 5 as a backup story. It was not until 1988 that DC Comics acquired the rights to the Peacekeeper title and character and gave him his own miniseries, thus kind of birthing him into the DC Comics universe. Now, if y'all thought Bloodsport had his own mental issues, hold on, because Peacekeeper, man, is kind of crazy. He's a little crazy. So Peacekeeper is so in love with the idea of peace and is like this objective pacifist where like nothing could ever stop him, so he decides to become like this superhero where he uses non-violent weapons to get his ideas across and to promote peace and keep the peace. And okay, that's cool. He kind of sounds like a normal vigilante superhero with like some weird, PC stuff going on. However, this man also suffers his own psychotic break when he finds out that his father was a Nazi death camp officer commander. Not gonna lie, that would kind of make me crazy too. He then goes into like this blood rage and ends up becoming a cold-blooded killer, still in the name of peace, of course. However, you know the little funky metal helmet he's got going on? Yeah, that metal funky helmet ain't just for looks, kids, because Peacekeeper believes that the souls of people he has killed, and not only those that he's killed, but the people in his vicinity who have died, they're trapped in the helmet, and they're whispering him little words of advice and encouragement. Go Peacekeeper. This man is insane, and I'm honestly scared for him to be a part of this squad, because shit's gonna go down real quick. The odds of survival for Peacekeeper, I'm gonna put them up pretty high. It's John Cena. They could never kill John Cena unless, of course, they did it kind of funny. But he's also got his own spin-off show, so unless it's a prequel, I really can't see them killing off the Peacekeeper man. So Rick Flag makes a return to Suicide Squad after being in, the horrible mess that we experienced a few years ago, and can I be honest? I think, let me be honest with y'all, let me level. I'm pretty sure that the only reason why this guy came back is because he was a part of the original Suicide Squad, and I'm not talking about the Suicide Squad from the 1980s that we're used to. I'm talking about the one way back then, from like 59, somewhere in there, 54, I don't know, old OG Suicide Squad. At this point, they're literally keeping him around as figurehead because this bland white piece of meat is just so boring. He ain't even good to look at. And odds of survival, I'm hoping they kill him in the first 5 minutes. It's not gonna happen though. Y'all ever hear about the Polkadot Man? Because I've never heard about the Polkadot Man. But now I'm an expert on the Polkadot Man. So the Polkadot Man first appeared in Detective Comics number 300 back in 1962. So he's a Batman villain, okay? So we're used to the Batman shtick. He's got his own little weird comic-y gimmick. He's got these little dots all over him that he can throw off. He's got weapons for dots. He's got vehicles for dots. I mean, he's got a little disc thingy, I believe. When I was reading and research, one of these dots can literally just pop off and becomes like a little flying disc for transportation. I don't know, this guy's funny. He's weird. He's got his own gimmick. I feel like he should be running around with the Clock King and the Condiment King and the Polkadot Man. It should be noted, though, that at some point during the comics, he gets the absolute snot kicked out of him by good old Harvey Bullock, and that causes him to sue the entire Gotham City Police Department. But after that happens, he kind of becomes like the run-long joke of Gotham City villains. And after that, Polkadot Man kind of just sort of faded from existence. However, it also can be noted that most recently, he showed up in the recent Suicide Squad featured in Tom Taylor's Injustice comics. Not in the actual Suicide Squad comic, the Injustice comics. And unfortunately there, Polkadot Man didn't really survive because Jason Todd blew his head off. Jason Todd, you rat bastard, but I still love you. So I'm going to say that the Polkadot Man's odds of survival in the Suicide Squad movie, I'm going to set him at a solid 55.9%. Blackguard is another character that's kind of not exactly fun, but he's a little fun. So he first appeared in Booster Gold #1. That's right, Blackguard is a Booster Gold villain. Does that mean Booster Gold is going to show up in the Suicide Squad movie? That would be really cool, y'all. So Blackguard literally radiates dumb himbo energy. Like, he is like the dumbest of the himbos when we talk about himbos in comics. Like, this man is so dumb. He gets his ass beat by Skeets. Skeets, you know, the little robot that follows Booster Gold around. He got beat by Skeets. He ain't the smartest crown in the shed, in the bunch, whatever you want to call it. He ain't smart. He ain't great. Neither am I. Maybe we're destined to be together. Who knows? However, you know who he ends up becoming best friends with? That's right, my comic book husband. Blackguard and Guy Gardner end up becoming bestest of friends, and they open up a bar together, which I thought was kind of fun and kind of neat. So does that mean Guy Gardner might also show up in the Suicide Squad movie? I don't know, man. I think I just really want to see Booster Gold and Guy Gardner show up. I think it'd be really cute and really fun. It would make me really, really happy. I don't know. Blackguard, he's nothing really special to write home to. He just seems like this super soldier that is kind of dumb and has like space weapons and energy weapons and gets the crap kicked out of him a bunch. I don't know. I was really excited when I was looking up Blackguard because I realized he was really buff and a dumb himbo. And then I realized that he was being played by Pete Davidson. So yeah, he's got the dumb himbo energy, but not the buff himbo energy. So I'm just a little sad about that. Odds of survival for Blackguard, as much as I hate to say it, I'm going to shoot him at a solid 37%. I don't think he's going to make it. Captain Boomerang, we know this guy. We know him from the last movie. He was cute. He's kind of cute. Kind of like Captain Boomerang. So Captain Boomerang first appeared in the Flash #117. At this point, we all know who Captain Boomerang is. I mean, if you read comics, you know who Captain Boomerang is. You know, when I think about villains, I feel like he is like the top villain next to Reverse Flash. Like, that's how good he is in terms of the Flash Rogues Gallery. You know, he's just your average dude who's got a hard-on for boomerangs. You know, I feel like he's always been a part of the Suicide Squad. I feel like it's not a Suicide Squad movie if Captain Boomerang isn't causing menace in the streets. But I usually hate him, but I really, really like this version of you know, Captain Boomerang for obvious reasons that shall be unnamed. So what are the odds of survival for Captain Boomerang, aka the actual Himbo King? I'll put him at a solid 87%. I don't think they're going to kill off Captain Boomerang because they need him for future movies. I hope they don't kill him. It might be sad if they kill him. Oh no, am I falling in love with Captain Boomerang? No, not happening. Savant! I love Savant. This is like the one character from the Suicide Squad cast lineup that I actually knew and that I'm really ridiculously excited for, but also not excited for. Savant first appeared in Birds of Prey #56 back in 2003. That's right, he's a good old product of Gail Simone, which means he's a really good character, y'all. So Savant is a spoiled little rich boy from another country, and he decides to show up in Gotham City because he wants to become a self-made vigilante. However, he's kind of a violent vigilante, which means Batman doesn't like him, and so him and Batman kind of get into it. Savant wanted to know who Batman was, and he knew that Oracle and Batman had some relations. So, Savant decided it would be a good idea to kidnap and torture the Black Canary. until he got the absolute crap kicked out of him by the rest of the Birds of Prey, and Black Canary included. Seriously, if you haven't read this arc, it's probably one of my favorite things Gail Simone has ever done. The art's a little cheesy because, you know, it's mid-2000s, but it's a good-ass arc. Savant is basically one of, like, the biggest Birds of Prey villains. However, it gets even stranger when he becomes an actual Birds of Prey himself. Like, he ends up becoming a teammate later on in the comics, and, like, a big teammate at that, because not only is he this self-proclaimed vigilante, but he's also a hacker that kind of rivals the skill of Oracle, and if you know the comics, you know that that is kind of a big deal. What makes Savant really special to me is his unabridged queerness, which I don't think we're going to get in the movies. Savant in the comics often runs around with an ex-KGB named Creote, and if you read the comics, you can see that the relationship between these two, it's hella gay. Like, crazy gay. And I like that, because I don't usually get to see buff men be gay. But he's being played by Michael Rooker, and I find it very hard to imagine that Michael Rooker is playing a queer typecasted character. I'm very hopeful, though. I'm also very scared that they are going to fridge the fuck out of Creote, and if that happens, I may have to walk out of a theater screaming. JK, I'm not seeing this in the theaters. Coming to HBO Max, y'all. So what are the survival chances of Savant living? Like, let's be honest, like, let's level. Personally, I want to see him live. I want to see him be cool, because I love Savant. I want to see him thrown into a Birds of Prey movie one day, maybe. The actual probabilities, though, of Savant living, I put him at 72%. I don't think he's gonna make it. It's gonna make me sad if I don't kill him first, because Michael Rooker gets on my nerves. Also, that wig is absolutely ridiculous, and Savant deserves better. Just saying, y'all. Mongol is a character that I did not know about, and now that I'm glad I love her, but it also feels like the biggest betrayal. Mongol first appeared in Showcase 95, number 8. And listen here, I think I found a new wife. She's so thick and could crush me in her thighs. Like, let's be honest. Like, look at her. She's great. Other than the fact that Mongol is my new wife, she is the daughter of Mongol the Elder and the twin sister of Mongol the Younger. So you see, they're getting real creative with family naming. So Mongol is like your average Superman villain. Like, honestly, like, she just kind of reminds me of like this sort of like New Gods-esque type character where she's got this whole big family legacy. Her father gets wronged by Superman, so then she decides that she is going to kill Superman herself. And then at some point I read that she ends up going to some other planet and becoming the queen, which I thought was really cool, and I'd like to come and be a loyal subject to you, Queen Mongol. And then I found out that her twin brother kills her. And that makes me really sad. If there's one thing that you should take away from this, is that there should be more Mongol in comics, because she's really cute. And I would buy like 50 of them. She's just really cute, man. I think she's my new favorite character. What are the probabilities of Mongol surviving, though? Well, she is kind of this like big space alien lady thing. So I want to say she's got a pretty good % chance, but probably not. So let's clock her in at a 59%. Maybe 48. I just feel like they're gonna cut her loose real early. Ratcatcher 2. That's right, you heard me. 2. Because she's technically not even a real character, and they made her up for the movie. So we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about Ratcatcher 1. Ratcatcher 1 first appeared in Detective Comics number 585. He's literally just your average Batman villain who's a janitor and talks to rats and controls rats, and he was an exterminator, but then he became friends with rats, and he can tame the rats, and he makes the rats do his evil bidding. I don't know, sounds like Gotham shenanigans to me. If you noticed in the Suicide Squad movie, Ratcatcher is a girl, and that's very interesting to me. So I'm not wondering, because like I said, she's not actually a character in the comics. I'm not wondering if Ratcatcher is going to be, you know, a prodigy of the original Ratcatcher, hence the little 2 next to her name. But we'll see. I don't know. She seems to have a really cute relationship with Idris Elba, and they're forming that father-daughter relationship that I absolutely love. So one of them's definitely dying because they know they want to break my heart. What are Ratcatcher's chances of survival? I'm going to give her a good old 75%. That sounds right. Yeah, I'm gonna put her up to 75, and we're gonna move Bloodsport down to a solid 62. They're gonna really do this to me, I feel it. The Weasel literally looks like a cracked out Rocket Raccoon. I'm sorry to say that, but he does. And then when I looked into the history of the Weasel, this rat bastard is just... I don't like him. He's very scary, and I want him to go. So the Weasel first appeared in Fury of the Firestorm number 35, and he started off as this like college student, and he would be picked on and would be called a Weasel, I guess because he was very Weasel-like and maybe not a good person. And then one day the Weasel decides that he is going to don an actual costume and just start psycho killing people in his school and psycho killing people out in the normal streets. And I'm just like, you might actually be a psycho. I don't like this character. This character kind of freaks me out. Seems like in the movie they've decided to go with the literal Weasel approach, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play with the backstory there. Fun fact, Weasel slits the throat of the Thinker. The Thinker is also in this movie. So am I speculating here? I think so. What are the chances of Mr. Weasel surviving? I want to say 20%. Get him out of here. He's gross. I don't like him at all. Goodbye. Speaking of the Thinker, sorry buddy, we're just going to put your survival chances here at a solid 10%. You know, considering the last batch, we're just gonna lead off on that. So the Thinker is an old dude. Like literally, he appeared in All Flash number 12 back in 1943. He's also one of the other characters on this list that has also made an on-screen appearance because he was also in the CW Arrowverse, but this time he appeared in the Flash. And why would you say he appeared in the Flash? Well, because he is often a villain of Jay Garrick, the original Flash. Now, the Thinker is kind of interesting to me. When I was doing research, this is the one that actually made me laugh out loud. The Thinker, also played by good old Doctor Who, is a lawyer of Gotham City. However, one day the Thinker realized that villains were too dumb, and he was really, really smart, and he thought that he could manipulate the villains to become a better villain himself. I am not kidding. This is literally the origin of the Thinker. So the Thinker decides that he is going to become a villain himself and becomes a criminal mastermind. However, in the process, he decides that he's going to create a knockoff Cerebro that will allow him to project mental waves and whatnot. And I just think that it is absolutely hilarious that the Thinker decided one day as a lawyer of Gotham that these villains were too stupid and that he was going to become a villain himself. That is literally the greatest villain origin story I have ever heard in my entire life, and I wish this character wasn't going to die. So we're almost there, guys. We've only got 3 more left, and of course I'm going to be saving the best for last. So Javelin is another quirky weirdo villain that I looked at and I was like, this is just... we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I will say, I will give James Gunn credit. When he was choosing his cast of characters, it seems that he was picking people who only had a Wikipedia page about the size of 4 paragraphs. So he is literally taking these characters that nobody knows or cares about and is doing whatever he wants with them. And I think that that is absolutely hilarious. Let's talk about Javelin, because Javelin is a character that appeared in Green Lantern number 173. Javelin is an Olympic athlete turned supervillain, literally arming himself with, you guessed it, spears and javelins. This character is dead. Like, this character is deader than dead. We're going to put his survival rate right here, right now, at like a solid 2%. I'm calling it right now. Javelin is dying in the first 5 minutes of this movie, or your money back guaranteed. Do you want to know why I said that? Because Javelin has literally been killed so many times. He's been shot by Deadshot. He's been impaled on his own spear by Cersei. He's been hit by a car and left for dead. This guy is dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Sorry if this was your favorite character, but he's not standing a chance in this movie. Next we have TDK, otherwise known as Floyd Belkin, otherwise known as the Splitter, aka he's played by Nathan Fillion. He's not even a villain, y'all. Like, I'm not kidding. I did my research, had to do a double check because I didn't know if I had gotten the right character, and then I realized I did. So this character goes in the comics by Splitter, but for whatever reason, they are naming him TDK in the movies. So again, guys, he's not an actual villain. If anything, he's kind of a good guy that can just dislodge his arms. So it turns out Splitter is kind of a really bad superhero that tried out for the Legion of Superheroes and didn't even make it past because all he can really do is pop off his arms and dislocate himself and literally detach his arms. I wouldn't say dislocate. He literally can just detach his arms. What are his chances of survival? I'll put him like a solid 10%. I don't think he's gonna last very long either because then they gotta pay Nathan Fillion a lot of money and I don't think Warner B's about to do that. And of course, you know, we are literally saving the best for last. That is right. It is time to talk about the goodest boy in comics, my baby love, King Shark. King Shark first appeared in Superboy number 9. And I love this bestest boy so much. He is literally a giant walking humanoid shark. He has gone toe to toe with so many people, with Superboy, with Aquaman. He's been a part of the Suicide Squad. He's been a part of the Secret Six. He is literally just a sweet angel baby. And that's all you really, really need to know. And I just love him so much. So much. Like, I could literally just rant about my love for King Shark for the rest of my life. First of all, my favorite animals are sharks. Second of all, he's just a big giant shark baby, and I just love him so much. So now you're gonna ask, Mars, what is King Shark's survival rate? King Shark's survival rate is 101,000%. And do you want to know why? Because I swear, if they kill King Shark, if they try to kill King Shark, I will march my butt up to the steps of Warner Brothers headquarters and I will literally cry violently until they bring him back to life. They already took El Diablo away from me. They can't take away the King Shark too. That is the crazy, wacky, wild cast of the Suicide Squad. I am so excited to meet all of these bozos, especially after doing my research. Like, watching the trailer, I was kind of like, these are just a bunch of weirdos and they're kind of weird, and why were they even picked for the movie? But then when I was doing my research, I'm like, these are so wacky and so crazy, and I hope that they just run to the wall with the craziness and the kookiness and the wackiness, which I think they will, because the villain of the Suicide Squad is literally a giant kaiju starfish. That's right, boys and girls, we got Star the Conqueror, and I'm ridiculously excited to see this big starfish, bubble-headed idiot just take over the world. It's gonna be so much fun. For the first time in a long time, I'm just really, really, really excited about a DC comic movie. It's probably going to fail me like all the other ones have, but hey, I can be a little hopeful. I don't know. These characters are really cool and really wacky, and I can't wait to meet them. I hope you're as excited as I am. Let me know down in the comments below. Let me know who you're excited for. Let me know if anybody I talked about today piques your interest. Let me know what you think the survival cast rates are of the Suicide Squad, because I'm a little biased if you can't tell. But I'm curious to see what you think. I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm gonna read a bunch of Suicide Squad comics and stare at my baby boy King Shark for a million hours. I will see you in the next video. Bye!